Hello viewers, this is Nazir Mahmood once again. Today we will be talking through our Gauri channel about Pakistan's foreign policy in the 21st century. Uh, there are two important points to keep in mind about any foreign policy. Number one, in democracies, it is essentially the prerogative of political leaders, elected representatives of the people, to develop or change or amend foreign policy. Uh, this is one. And second point is that in foreign policy of any country is directly related with its own economic interests and economic condition. Now, in Pakistan, when we talk about 21st century foreign policy, we are essentially talking about the period from 2000 to 2020. Now, in 2000, Pakistan was one of those very few countries. I think there were only a couple of countries in the world which were directly ruled by a serving army general. And in Pakistan, that general was General Pervez Musharraf. Now, at that time, Pakistan was feeling isolation on two fronts. Number one, Pakistan had a military dictatorship, and number two, Pakistan was openly supporting Taliban government in Afghanistan. Now, as we remember, Taliban had occupied Kabul in 1996, and after that, Pakistan had wholeheartedly supported the Taliban regime there, so much so that in 2000, by 2000, there were only three countries in the world, or in addition to Pakistan, just two countries in the world which had recognized Taliban as legitimate rulers of Afghanistan, and these two countries were Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. Now, that shows if from around 200 countries in the world, there are 200 countries, I think 195 UN members and another 4 or 5 small countries. So out of 200 countries, just in addition to Pakistan, there were just two countries which has recognized Taliban as legitimate rulers. So which showed that Pakistan was a bit isolated at that time on both sides, because it was a military dictatorship, number one, and because it was supporting a highly unpopular regime internationally, and that was Taliban regime. But the situation changed in 2001 after the 9/11 attacks on Twin Towers in America. And after that, as we know, that President George W. Bush, or Bush Jr., he immediately started planning to retaliate, and General Pervez Musharraf did not hesitate in changing Pakistan's foreign policy overnight. And again, why did he do so? Again, because of two reasons which we discussed earlier. Number one, Pakistan was facing isolation, so General Pervez Musharraf wanted to end that isolation, and this was a golden opportunity. And secondly, Pakistan's economic condition was also not good, so it could bring benefits to Pervez Musharraf and to Pakistan also, and which ultimately it did. So what happened when Pakistan sided with the United States? Pakistan could could end its isolation, especially with America, and then secondly, it started gaining economic benefits. So we see that the entire period from 1999, when Pervez Musharraf took over, to 2008, we see that Pervez Musharraf's period was a period of close alliance in foreign policy with the United States, right, serving their purpose. But the situation changed after General Pervez Musharraf resigned, or he was forced to resign because democracy was restored in the country, and the new government of Pakistan People's Party, led by Asif Zardari, they also tried to continue in the same path. What that means? That means they also tried to keep close relationship with the United States. But soon, Pakistani establishment did not like it, because as long as Pakistan is led by a military government, it is all right to serve American purposes. But as soon as a civilian government comes to power, there are always problems. So at that time, Pakistan's ambassador to United Nations was Hussain Haqqani. He tried his best to keep close relationship with the United States, and in fact a Kerry Lugar bill also was introduced, through which Pakistan started receiving civilian aid. But somehow in Pakistani establishment did not like it, and it was very open, it was no secret. So a memo gate scandal came up, and according to that memo gate scandal, the civilian government of that time was put under tremendous pressure, and as a result, Zardari could not continue in the same footsteps as Pervez Musharraf had done earlier. So from 2010 to 2015, even after Nawaz Sharif came to power in 2013, that was the situation. But after 2015, the situation changed when CPEC was introduced, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which was part of One Belt, One Road initiative by China, which is now called BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, and under which China announced that it will be investing a lot of money in Pakistan, some in shape of grant and some in shape of soft loans. So from 2015 onwards, we see an increasing role of China in Pakistan, and Pakistani foreign policy also tilted towards China. But in 2018, when Imran Khan government came to power, PTI government came to power, it started once again to rejoin uh, American camps somehow, and it started again. Pakistan was facing economic problems, so Pakistan became closer to Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and the United States, and Pakistan avoided going to IMF because IMF had conditionalities. So Pakistan borrowed $3 billion from Saudi Arabia and another $3 billion in the shape of credit on oil purchases. So in all, it was over $6 billion deal that Pakistan received, and that was beneficial to Pakistan initially. But from 2018 onwards, we see that the relationship, Pakistan's relationship, has seen many ups and downs. In what shape? First of all, with Saudi Arabia, it was expecting once we got $6 billion deal, Saudi Arabia started dictating its own conditions. For example, Pakistan tried to establish a new kind of a bloc or Muslim countries in Kuala Lumpur, led by Turkey, Iran, Pakistan, and Malaysia, which Saudi Arabia did not like. So much so that when there was a conference in Kuala Lumpur and Pakistan was planning to go, Saudi Arabia pressured Pakistan not to go there, and Imran Khan obliged. Imran Khan did not send a delegation, did not participate himself, and did not even send a delegation to attend that Kuala Lumpur conference. And when Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia came, or even from UAE, Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, he drove their car also. So, by doing this, probably our government wanted that Pakistan will keep getting those benefits. But the situation changed in 2019 in August when India occupied Kashmir. Well, it was under their occupation already, but illegally or unconstitutionally, Modi government announced annexation of annexation of Kashmir into India. So when that happened, Pakistan tried to gather support internationally, but even Saudi Arabia and UAE did not openly support Pakistan, did not condemn India, and as a result, what happened there? The relationship between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and UAE started declining. And another factor at that time was Israel's involvement, because then Saudi Arabia and UAE decided that probably better relationship with Israel would be in their benefit. So then we saw a new axis developing between India on one side, Israel on the other side, and Saudi Arabia and UAE in the middle, or in fact most Arab Gulf countries in the middle. And it was difficult for Pakistan to decide what to do. So in that situation, Pakistan tried its best, but Pakistan was even unable to persuade Saudi Arabia to call even a foreign ministers meeting of OIC countries, Organization of Islamic Countries. And the latest situation now in 2020, we see that the relationship between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and UAE are almost at a standstill. Though we keep talking about our eternal friendship, but the situation is dire. So what needs to be done? Probably the best option for Pakistan is to look at its own foreign policy, and especially regarding Kashmir and regarding Israel, probably we need a totally new thinking. We cannot continue with the policy that we have been following for the past 70 years and especially during the past 20 years. Thank you very much viewers for watching. I request you to subscribe to Gauri channel. Thank you very much.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever we upload new video you will get a notification on your phone.